Okay, so we are Curtless today. Jackie is filling in last minute. Roommate Jackie, friend Jackie. This is not her first rodeo, so we're gonna be fine. I called Curt, we have a lot of things to talk about today, but I had called Curt, I texted Curt, and Curt's like, I'm not doing the podcast today, I don't have power.
Oh.
So the question is, if you're in the Pacific Northwest, did you survive bomb cyclone last night? Because that's what they're calling this weather pattern. I don't know why they call it that.
A bomb cyclone?
That's a great question. I don't know. There's a scientific-y stuff that Curt tried to talk about in yesterday's show a little bit.
Okay.
So people have lost power. There are trees down everywhere. Schools are closed today. I mean, not all schools, so make sure you check.
Like live power lines down.
Yes. I mean, firefighter Pat was out last night. He worked last night, and he was like, I'm sitting on a power line, not literally, but babysitting a power line so people wouldn't drive over it until PUD could get there and move it out of the way.
That's not scary at all.
No, not at all. And I was supposed to go to trivia last night, which we'll talk about in a little bit. And Pat, when I called him, said, don't go. You need to get home. You need to hunker down because it's dangerous out there.
I did that. I just want to go on the record. It was not out of any sense of public safety. I just was in a hunkering down kind of place, but it worked out in my benefit.
That's awesome. Okay, so what's coming up today in the show? We've got lots of great things. Are you too old to learn? My computer's going crazy. I tell you what.
Here, you can look right here.
Are you too old to learn something new? There's a pizza health hack that we have that is.
I love pizza.
You're not even going to believe this one.
Okay.
Why is Netflix being sued? What else do we have coming up?
Your answers to what did you do that scared you? What are families fighting about during the holidays?
Because they are.
Yes. Top guy cry movies. I didn't even know.
Guy cry. We're putting it in air quotes. Yeah. And so much more. But first, why did Jen only get an hour and a half of sleep last night?
Why did Jen get only an hour and a half of sleep last night?
And I was at the hospital all night.
You didn't hunker down.
It was late. The storm was over by the time we left for the hospital. Because we had a baby. I didn't have a baby, but I say we had a baby because it takes a village. Hot firefighter boyfriend's Pat's son, Anthony, his oldest son, and Sierra had a little baby girl. It was super last minute. She had high blood pressure, so they're like, we're taking the baby. They transported her to UW Medical Center, and she had a C-section. But little Everly Ann, she was born at 2:59 a.m.
Gosh.
And she was 5 pounds, 15 ounces, 18 inches, and she's so cute. Some babies are ugly.
Right.
She's cute.
Well, and 5 pounds because she was really early. That's a nice, healthy baby.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
She was going to have a C-section on next Monday, this coming Monday, I guess I should say, but yeah, a week early about.
Well, congratulations
to
all of you. Anthony's here, and Anthony's here. If you're listening, I just want to go on the record as saying I am an excellent baby holder, and my services are available to you at any time.
I haven't even held her yet. In fact, when I left the hospital, Anthony hadn't even held her yet.
Oh.
And I'm like, Anthony, why have you not held your daughter? And he said, well, I didn't know if I was allowed to, and plus she's so fragile, I don't want to break her. I'm like, you will not break her.
He'll get over that.
You will not break her.
Oh, that's so exciting. Congratulations. Okay, I have a question for you.
Yes. What? Tell me.
What is Pat's name? Is he
Papa Pat?
Papa Pat.
Papa Pat.
I love it. So, do you have a designation yet?
No, because they didn't even know how to introduce me to the nurses. They're like, and this is Jen. I'm like, okay.
We gotta work on that.
Thanks.
I'm gonna come up with
I'm not officially part of the family, you know what I mean? But
you are.
I'll just be.
But you are.
I'll just be fun Jen. All right, moving on. I have to say this. I mentioned trivia night.
Yes.
You and I were not there.
Right.
Curt Cruz was not there, but other people were there to represent Whiskey Business, and they got a team record breaker standing because they've only been 8th place at best. I should say we.
Right.
Well, last night 5th place, Sean O'Donnell's.
That just shows.
Way to go.
Congratulations.
Why we shouldn't be there anymore.
And I will from here on out just be a cheerleader for y'all.
Yeah, they didn't need us at all. So good job. All right, so there was a poll I've got to get my music. I got to be more on top of this. There is a poll out there about spreading kindness, which I love so much. I know you love it so much too. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about this?
Sure.
Okay.
So as we're entering this season of giving,
yes,
it's the perfect opportunity to be generous and compensate for the last 3 seasons of selfishness.
Okay.
I have to say, though, I don't think people who are selfish care about kindness season.
Well, go on with this article, because when I read the whole thing, I was like, oh, they're only being kind because they're trying to make up for a year of not being so.
Santa not to put coal in their stocking. I don't know. So in a new poll, 43% of Americans say that they're actively doing more good deeds before the end of 2024 to make up for the rest of the year, which includes stuff like volunteering or donating. This sentiment is more common among younger generations. 59% of Gen Zers and millennials are planning on doing more good as we approach 2025.
Planning on.
Compared to 37% of Gen Xers and Boomers. I just think about that, like when I used to yell at my kids to clean your room. I was gonna. That's what I hear when I see this.
Here's the thing. Anytime kindness is being put out in the world, I'm a fan.
Right.
But let's, for 2025, make it a goal that we just do it all year long and not feel like we have to make up for what we didn't do.
Right.
Toward the end of the year.
Oh my gosh.
Hashtag goals.
Well, right. Yes, it's always good to focus on kindness. If you have to work at it, maybe that's just it.
It will bring you joy. I promise you, if you do good things in the world, I know many of you listening know this, but yeah, it's a good thing.
Yes.
So Netflix is being sued. Big surprise over the Jake Paul, Mike Tyson fight because of the streaming issues. And you watched the fight. I watched the fight with my hands over my face and doing dishes at the same time.
You weren't even in the room. You were in here doing
But
dishes.
I heard you guys what's going on? I'm like, oh no, is the internet bad? And you guys were like, no, this is Netflix.
It was all around just, I'm not a boxing fan. I literally, up until that moment, I had never watched an entire boxing match. That said, it was boring.
Yeah, right?
It was so boring.
So they're being sued by a Florida man named Ronald Blue Denton. He has filed a class action lawsuit calling Netflix failure legendary. So it's because of the fight had so many issues with the streaming. We were buffering on some of the fight. So Netflix has acknowledged some of the members had a bad experience, but they considered the event to be a huge success. They now claim that, get this, 108 million people watched the so-called fight. We're putting that in quotes because there's just a lot of dancing around. So there was a shared social media post by Netflix and Jake Paul claiming it to be the most streamed global sporting event ever, but they're still being sued.
I wonder if that's accurate.
I do. I wonder if that's accurate too.
And my thing about the lawsuit is if it had been pay-per-view and I had to pay a separate amount to watch that fight, then I could get behind suing them. But what is this guy really out?
Well,
what are his losses and damages?
There's something to be said about the fact that, don't you have to pay something for Netflix?
But you're already paying the subscription. It's just, we didn't pay anything extra to watch that fight.
I'm kind of with you on that. I kind of get where he might be coming from, but people are just too happy. Let's do a lawsuit because we can maybe make some money from it. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
I just think it's dumb.
All right. This health hack.
Oh dear.
Having to do with pizza. You're just now reading it, aren't you?
Can we just say, I was literally on the treadmill mid-run and Jen was like, do you want to fill in? So I have not prepped.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. We're just rolling with it because we want to give you something today.
I was excited for a healthy pizza hack and then I started reading this and now I'm less excited.
So of course it's gone viral because that's how we get our information now. Someone did this and we're going to believe them. So this woman on TikTok posted a hack that's supposed to make pizza healthier, and this is her hack. As soon as the pizza is delivered by the pizza delivery guy, or as soon as you get your pizza, as long as it's in a box, right? It's in the cardboard box. You take the box, you flip it upside down, and you drop it to the ground, upside down. Pick it up, do it again, drop it again. And then she claims that a lot of the grease will have soaked up at the top of the box, and so that your pizza is now healthier. Will you do this? Because here's my thing. If you have a piping hot pizza, what's going to happen is you're going to lose all the toppings at the top of the box.
Right, it's just going to be a smear of toppings at the bottom, whatever, at the bottom.
No.
What about the good old days where you just if you're really worried about the grease, you take a paper towel and
dab it
off.
I'm all about the dab trick.
And nothing gets thrown on the floor. And then like no errant dog hairs or anything else can get in your pizza.
Well, hopefully, that's the other issue you might have too, is the box doesn't stay sealed. When you drop it to the ground, right? What happens if the top opens before the...
Physics, man.
I mean, I just cannot with some of these things on social media. This whole question makes me sad. Are you too old to learn something new? The whole, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. This story, I'm not sure I love it so much. In a survey, 36% of all Americans think they're too old to learn. And that just isn't like boomers. Like literally not, my daughter calls me a boomer, like the boomer generation.
I think it's interesting because I don't think I'm too old to learn new things. I do think my age stops me from like pursuing complete career changes or complete like things where I have to start over from scratch. I'm like,
don't you feel like so much more ways into like something like a career change?
Yes.
Too. I mean,
but like I want to relearn. I'd love to learn to snowboard. I want to learn pickleball. There's a lot of things I still want to learn.
Yes.
I honestly don't know anyone. I haven't asked the question to people, but I feel like most of the people we know are in more of a growth mindset.
Absolutely. Like I love learning new things. And I'm learning so much now remodeling that house with hot firefighter boyfriend Pat. There's so many things that I never imagined I'd be doing and learning. And it's fun.
Yeah.
So I just want to say some of this. 74% of the boomers actually claim they love learning new things. Mm-hmm. And about 60% say learning something new is more rewarding than when they were younger. I think because when you're younger, you have to learn things.
Yes.
Like you've got to get some experience and knowledge under your belt. But yeah, anyway, technically you can love learning new things and get excited about it and still feel like you're too old for this stuff.
Well, and
I don't like that.
I also think the more that you engage your brain in learning new things, the younger and more, the younger you stay, and you put off things, mental deteriorations that can happen as you get older. So I hope
you keep your brain strong.
Boomers are really thinking about what can I be learning every day to keep your brain active and engaged.
So what's the best age for learning new things?
Oh, it's my age.
26?
26. Mm-hmm.
Age 26. Mm-hmm. Naturally, learning new things often involves technology, but it can also be learning a new language, picking up a hobby such as pickleball, like you mentioned, adding a skill to your arsenal, or honing in on existing ones. So go out and learn something new. I always talk about that. Like if I learn something new for the day, I'm like, learn something new for the day, I'm done. I like that. I really love when there's little nuggets that come my way that I didn't already know about. So keep learning.
I got super, super excited yesterday learning about a new app that I could use in my job.
Yes, that's right. You were like,
completely
get this, Jen.
And you were like, you mean this thing?
All right. Do you want to do this next story, Jackie?
Sure.
Because this is, I'll help you through it. This is amazing.
Okay, so this was in the news last week, but now there's one extra fun detail. A Royal Caribbean cruise ship called Explorer of the Seas docked in Miami on Sunday after leaving Spain November 2nd. It was supposed to arrive last Thursday, but there was an incident.
Right.
5 days in, it got hit by a huge gust of wind near the Canary Islands off Africa that left the ship tilted to one side with thousands of people on board.
So there's a video. I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit here. There's a video where they show this. This guy was sitting in a bar. I don't know why he was videoing it, but he started videoing, and you saw things literally slide down and crash, and glass everywhere. Like things are sliding down. People are walking and like stumbling and trying to keep their balance sideways. It's amazing. But more amazing is the music that was playing in the background on the ship.
Tell me it wasn't Titanic music.
It was.
Stop it!
It was Titanic music. Now here's the thing. I'm a huge fan of music. I know you're a huge fan of music. If Curt was here, he would say the same thing. But there should be a law.
For sure.
Where cruise ships are not allowed to play music from the Titanic.
Right?
They should not.
That's just common sense.
No,
Oh
no.
my God. And it's funny because you have that down here in the notes, but I hadn't scanned down that part and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That was just bad
I mean, so
decisions.
that's the gist of that story. I was like, are you even kidding me right now? They were playing My Heart Will Go On from Titanic.
Everyone was okay. No one was hurt.
Yeah, I think everyone was okay if I remember what I wrote.
Okay.
Or when I copy and pasted this article that I was like, come on.
They thought it was a cool special effect.
They did. So people on the ship thought this was like some kind of cool effect that was happening on the ship, and then they realized, oh, S-H-I-T.
So did they, before they got to Miami, did they right the ship and then bring it to Miami? Did they just hang
must
out
have.
on tilt? Or did they sail tilted? Like, I'm
I
trying
don't-
to visualize.
I can't even
how they
answer that,
got to
Jackie. I don't
Miami.
even know.
I would can someone get back to us? I would like to know.
Okay. We asked the question yesterday, the Curt and Jen podcast question of the day was, what did you do that scared you? So it's basically something that was scary to you, but you did it anyway. And I love you answered. You were the first one to answer this question. We post these questions on Facebook, Curt and Jen in the Morning Facebook page, nearly every day. And we'd love for you to answer it. Jackie, what did you say?
I went ziplining, which as someone who is not a fan of going super fast and hates heights, that was a big challenge. But the company I was working for at the time offered your choice of like little activities for this retreat we went on.
Okay.
And that was one of them. And I thought, I'll never do, if I don't do it on someone else's dime in a group setting with people I like, I'll never do it.
Where was it?
Whistler. It was in the summertime in Whistler.
Was it beautiful?
It was beautiful. And they did it smart because like there were 4 or 5 different like ones that you did.
Yes.
So the first one was like a little training one and they take your picture and like that's it, right? But then they take you to the most extreme one right after that. So you don't have time to like build up fear because after that everything's easy.
Okay.
But literally like I'm ziplining over this valley and there's pine trees below me.
Yes.
And
you're high in the sky.
The best part, I'll just tell this last little bit of the story. They tell you if you feel like you're going too fast, you should starfish, right? Like that's like this, right?
Oh yes, to slow yourself down.
But I'm too terrified to let go of the thing, so I would hold on with one hand and one foot and stick one hand and foot out and then switch
because you didn't want to totally let go.
And so somebody asked me, he's like, "Were you dancing?"
Yes.
Anyway, I'm so glad I did it. It was an amazing experience.
Would you do it again?
Probably.
Like if I said, Jackie, let's go ziplining.
I could probably be talked into it, but it's like, it's a big thing to overcome.
There's supposed to be a real fun place on Camino Island. I forget what it's called, but I know it, like Canopies.
You're driving my heart rate up
Canopies
again,
Northwest. Okay, so let's go through some of the things people said. Like Carrie said she went skydiving in college. It was an incredible experience. Even though she was scared, it was awesome.
I think that makes it better when you're scared and you like...
And then you love it.
Yeah.
Meredy rode a bucking donkey. That's interesting.
Marilyn went into the ape caves at Mount St. Helens and was afterwards happy that she did it. What are the ape caves?
So I've heard about the ape caves, like just recently I've heard about the ape caves. I don't know a whole lot about them. They're kind of like this hidden gem, I think. I just don't know if there's apes inside. I actually replied to her comment saying, did you see apes? Like, I don't know exactly what it all means, but I think we need to go check it out. Ina went in Disney World Avatar.
Oh.
Now, I've been to Disney World and I did not get to go on Avatar because the line was so freaking long, which is disappointing to me because you know me, I'll go on pretty much any amusement park ride for the most part without much fear.
Are you afraid of roller coasters?
No. Like I've gone on some where I'm like, I will not do that again because it just did not make me feel good at all. And I find as I'm aging that's happening a little bit more, which kind of pisses me off, but I still love roller coasters. Do you?
Refer back to my I hate heights and going fast.
You won't do them?
I promised a little girl's father once that I would never get on another roller coaster.
Oh, that's right.
Because when I get scared, I swear. And
not only when she's scared, but she does swear more when she's
uncontrollably when I'm scared.
Okay, what are some more of them?
Corey did a Tarzan tree maze at Mount Hood and then had to jump off a platform high in the trees. And no matter what her brain told her body to do, her feet would not let go of the platform. This was obviously very funny for everyone but her, but she's glad she did it and not doing it again.
That's kind of like those challenge rope courses things, it sounds like, doesn't it?
A little, or like
have you done
jumping.
those? I have not done those. That is something I actually don't love to do, but maybe I should because I'm scared to do it.
Again, if it was like part of a big group activity, I would do it, but it's not something where I'm like, hey, let's go jump off a platform today. That's probably
Anne Marie said she got out of the car and walked into the hospital by herself to see her mom, despite having hospital phobia due to a childhood hospitalization that left her with PTSD.
That's a real thing. Like,
yeah, so
being afraid of hospitals.
But when your mom's in the hospital, it's like, let's get our big girl pants on and go. And she did it. Good for you, Anne Marie.
She says stand-up comedy. So did she get up and
I'm guessing that's what that means.
Go Anne.
I know. I would never do that. I don't think I'm funny enough to do that first and foremost, but that would be
so scary.
Challenging.
I think you're very funny, but
our friend Shelly, I love this.
She did move to a different country.
She lived in Canada and moved to the United States. Canada, yeah.
Amanda went on a hot air balloon ride despite being afraid of heights.
There's a common theme in some of these about heights. David said now this is crazy to me. David said he confronted a guy choking a woman. Also, separate incident, explained to a policeman that he was wrong, rude, and reckless. I figured I'd be arrested, but I could tell he knew I was in the right. So that's bravery.
That's to speak up for yourself and to intervene with someone else's physical violence. Yes. Good for you, David.
Yeah. Leslie said teaching. We know Leslie. She is a middle school PE teacher.
I'm a little terrified of teaching. So good. Thank you for doing that important work, Leslie. Barb said she's afraid of heights, but jumped off a high dive when she was a kid, zip-lined, I guess an event she won from Star, and rappelled down a 4-story building for charity.
Ooh, I think that would be so fun.
She hates ladders. Oh, no, I don't think that would be. 4-story building, I could maybe do that.
And you're strapped in and someone's you're super harnessed and you're just like rappelling down. I think that'd be fun. I think that one would be fun.
Okay.
I will say, I couldn't think of something that I know there's things that I've done that I've been scared of, but I couldn't think of anything. But when Barb mentioned jumping off the high dive, I remember when I was little at the Linwood Rec Center.
Oh, yeah.
I was so freaking scared to jump off that high dive. But then once I did, it was like, okay, I can do this.
Yes.
Okay. Tracy did something I truly will never do because I just have zero interest in it.
Oh, bungee jumped off the Sky Tower in New Zealand.
I mean, I will bungee jump off nothing. I just don't want to bungee jump.
When I was like 19, I went with a friend. I didn't bungee jump.
I was going to say, what?
No. She went up to Canada and bungee jumped over a river, and she had all this long hair, and her hair was like, went all the way into the water. I have great pictures of her bungee jumping.
And then one last one.
Alicia left her ex-husband to get divorced and raise 2 kids on her own, and that is some scary
We
stuff.
have both been through that.
Yes.
And yes, that is, there's another one. Yeah, that was really terrifying to do.
Yes.
But on the other side, both my ex and me better off.
For sure. But I was just talking to somebody about this actually this week because I was talking to a young woman I met who is just getting separated. And I was like, look, it sucks. Like, she's like, well, no, it's fine. I'm like, it sucks even when it's good.
Yeah.
It sucks. Just get through it.
That's funny. Okay. I was at a happy hour yesterday, late afternoon, and that came up because one of our friends is going through that. And I said that exact same thing. Like, even when it's good, even at its best circumstances, it's still sucky.
Yeah. Agreed.
So if it's messy, forget about it.
Agreed.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I know I would fail this. Go ahead.
How do we feel about retaking our driver's test at 50? Is this a thing?
Yeah.
So based on that moron who just cut you off while staring at his phone, maybe we should do this. A study in Australia found that it would make roads safer if people had to retake their driver's test at age 50.
If you had to retake the driving test right now, or the driver's test, what do you think? Would you think you'd pass?
I probably would not pass the written.
Yeah.
I would probably fail the written.
I feel like we could make our way through the driving part.
Yeah, like I feel like
You'd have to be extra conscious of your, like, what you've done badly all these years.
And like slow down.
Slow
I do
down.
feel like lately my parallel parking is getting better, so I have a little bit.
Yes.
But I also rarely have someone in the car with me testing me on it.
Macy just took her driver's test, my youngest daughter, and she said that if you go more than 5 miles over the speed limit, automatic fail.
Yes.
That's what would fail me.
When I took the test back when I was like 16, if you broke the speed limit by 1, you were done.
Oh, that's hard to do. There should be a little more grace in there. They cited stats that show that 19% of fatal crashes involve people under 25, but 21% involve people over 65. Just, the eyesight, the reaction times, that's the worst part of it. But also bad driving habits, like not turning on your signals or not checking blind spots.
Oh my gosh.
So once those habits, like for 30 years, go unchecked, they can get set in stone. So should everyone have to take, not only retake the driver's test, but also retake, like do a refresher course? It's not a terrible idea. It would be a pain in the ass for sure.
It would be really, like, I already feel it would be an administrative nightmare, like to have to prove you.
Yeah.
I get it. I wouldn't fight it terribly, but I don't love it.
A poll in the last month said 1/4 of Americans said they're not sure they could pass the written exam if they had to take it right now.
I'm here to tell you, I'm confident I would not.
I'm here to tell you, there is no mistake in that. I just will not. Okay. Ooh, that's an interesting little piece of music for...
Well, it kind of goes with this.
Oh, it does. Okay, the holidays are coming. We know this. They're right around the corner. And we know that when families get together, they fight. In fact, 40% of families fight. So 4 out of every 10.
Do you ever fight with your family at the holidays?
There have actually been some
Kerfuffles?
Yeah. What about you?
I
mean,
don't.
you have 3 sisters, right?
Yeah, I've always been like, I don't know if it's a birth order thing or something else, but I've always kind of been the peacekeeper.
Right, but put yourself out of it. In your family, is there fights?
Not fights, no. There's some disagreements and people usually just walk away. But in my family, like, I'm probably the most sort of middle ground politically. There are some very strong feelings on both sides of the political spectrum.
Oh.
Not a lot of tolerance for the other. And I'm a little worried because in light of this recent election that we just had, that's going to get really contentious.
Well, here's the thing. Politics is the #1 topic that can start a fight, but it didn't win by much. The top 3 topics that you should just avoid, and I don't know why they would say, well, politics is #1 at 34%. #2 is family dynamics and past grievances at 32%, so that is pretty close.
A tie between relationships and finances at 25%.
Why are you talking about finances at a holiday gathering?
People do, like,
I mean,
boundaries, boundaries.
Maybe how much it costs, but for the dinner or something? Anyway, what's the other thing? That was it. The tie between relationships and finances.
The only thing I can think of is, like, maybe I watch too much TV or whatever, but maybe when family money, like inheritance type things come up, maybe that
brings out the worst in people. I swear to God, that is
so ugly.
So to recap, do not talk about these things during the holidays with your family. Politics, family dynamics, and past grievances, just leave those behind. Leave them for another time. Relationships or finances, and you should be fine. There's so many other things that you can talk about, like
this topic, for example.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Let's talk about this.
I don't have my music. Damn it.
It's okay.
Okay, here we go. This isn't appropriate for the topic, but we're going to go with it. Go ahead. What is it?
So the top guy cry movies.
Have you heard of this before?
I never have, because I always assume, like, I've certainly seen movies with men who have teared up or, you know, cried a little. But I never thought of movies that were specifically to make anyone cry, but a subset called guy cry movies that concern themselves with more masculine topics like sports, war, and father-son relationships.
I'm trying to think if I have been with a guy who has cried at a movie.
Oh, I have. Like, my ex-husband cried at a couple of things. And then, yeah, I've dated a couple of guys where we went to a movie, and like, not ugly crying, but like, you know, you catch them going.
Okay. I'm sure I have because
I'm sure
I have.
firefighter boyfriend Pat gets tenderhearted at times.
He has a tender heart for sure. Okay, so some of those movies that we're talking about, the guy cry movies, include Furious 7, which was out in 2015. That's the one where they had to say goodbye to Paul Walker's character. Yes. I mean, that whole thing made me sad. I've never watched any of the Furious,
I think I watched
Furious
the
movies.
First one, and then I was like, I don't need to watch.
But then that song came out that was in the movie about that. I'm like, oh my god, Armageddon.
Yeah. Okay.
Interstellar.
I've never watched that.
I haven't. I'm trying to figure out why. I think that it has something to do with the dad relationship, maybe. Click, Good Will Hunting, Braveheart, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, Frequency, which you were like, Jen,
I love that movie.
Have you seen that movie? And I'm like,
and the song that Garth Brooks sings that's from that movie, I will listen to it over and over.
What song do I know
it?
it?
It's called Until You Come Back to Me Again.
I don't think I know that one.
Such a beautiful song. And The Iron Giant, I love that movie too. But I listen, my kids, if they happen to listen to this, would laugh because my superpower is crying at every movie, like
TV commercials,
The Neverending Story 2, and they're just like, if there's a movie, Mama can cry at it.
Yeah, for sure. My kids would say the same thing. We're just tender-hearted people, Jackie. So that brings us to the question of the day, which is, it goes along with this movie question, or this movie topic. What movie made you ugly cry?
Oh, okay.
Like ugly cry. Like I get you where you're like, I'm getting teary from this movie, a little verklempt, but what's the movie that made you ugly cry?
So I have two. What's the one with the little boy that is allergic to bees and he gets stung and
I don't know this movie.
Yes, you do, and I can't think of the name of it right now. It's based on the name is like from a...
I don't recall that movie, Jackie.
Oh, it has Anna Klumsky in it when she first came on as a little girl, and the movie My Girl.
Oh!
And then at the end where she's saying goodbye to her friend who...
Right!
Oh my God. But the one that, like, when I was married, I was watching, and it will get me every time I watch it, Hope Floats, the scene where the little girl is chasing after her daddy, trying to get him to take her with him.
What?
And my ex-husband came home while I was watching that, and I was like, like couldn't catch my breath. And he walked in, he's like, oh my God, what's the matter? Who died? Like, I was so inconsolable. I'm like, and Dad just drove off. Like, I could not. It was horrible.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think. I know that there's a handful of them for me. I know that one of them is, I think it's called The Fault in the Stars.
Oh, The Fault in Our Stars, yeah. I never watched it because I've learned that that's not actually enjoyable to cry that hard.
Yeah. That was a good one.
There are some brutal ones out there.
And we want to know them. We're, happy, joy. What movies made you ugly cry?
And
that's what we want to know for tomorrow.
Ugly crying.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. Jackie, thank you for filling in last minute. Seriously. I really appreciate that. When Curt called me or texted me and said I'm not doing the podcast today, I'm like, well, crap, I already prepped a show.
I was happy to be invited. Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you so much for being here. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow. That helps us immensely. Make good choices. Find joy. Spread kindness. Have a good one.